Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by T.A. Forsberg and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
In July of 2021, I was grateful to be introduced to a concept being discussed called Strikeout Baseball. 3 years later and a lot of hard work, the team's back to give a status update and here to discuss the exciting concept plan for our region is the founder of Strikeout Baseball, Jeff Lazaros, president of Strikeout Baseball, Jeff Burke, and community ambassador and board member Ashlee Willis, and Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, Mr. John Smoltz. Welcome to the show, Jeff, Ashlee, and John.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That's a heck of an intro. But so, Jeff, as the founder, explain to the listeners kind of what Strikeout Baseball is from a physical and programming standpoint. What are people going to see once it's operational?
Basically a miniature stadium that's going to allow kids to engage in our national pastime. I talk to a lot of people on occasion that obviously love the game like you. We all know about the things that we did, the creative ways that we found ways to play baseball as kids. And over the years, it's just been a passion of mine to create a place where it takes that sandlot type game to another level and creates a place where kids can not only engage to play the game of baseball, but to give them hope. These kids in the inner city have a lack of things to do, and we believe that creating Strikeout Baseball, and I know this is a big part of John's passion in being involved, is that we're creating a place where kids can develop a love for baseball in a fun, unique, engaging environment. And just a quick thumbnail sketch on the backstory is that I'm a Detroit guy born and raised. I often say, growing up in the city, baseball is a way of life. That's how we communicated. That's how we learn lessons. And there's so many things that baseball has to offer and teach our kids that, the novice baseball fan doesn't realize, right? Us baseball guys know the intricacies of the game, and we're taking it to another level to get these young kids to get a glove in their hand, get a bat in their hand, and learn the game of baseball. And
not need 18 other friends to do it.
That's the unique thing. Well, we've created a place where 2 kids, 4 kids can now come and engage and play baseball in a 2-on-2 up to a 5-on-5 type of environment. There's some modified rules, of course, but as we get the word out about what we're doing and what we're building, and the fact that John's name is attached to this project, speaks volumes not only to the community but to the kids that will get to experience this first of its kind stadium here in Lansing, Michigan.
Got it. So, Jeff Burke, where is this going to be located?
It's right close to the Capitol.
Okay.
It's just a great location. It was donated the land by the city of Lansing, which is beautiful. And it's just amazing to see. There's a mini soccer, I say stadium, facility
Yeah.
right next to it. So they got basketball courts. With this baseball, it just completes that area for downtown, Lansing, right by the Capitol there.
Got it. And if people drove by today, and again, we're recording this in early April of 2024, what would they see? There's construction going on now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We got some poles up. We got the wall getting ready to go up. The cement's poured. A lot of construction going on. It's been a little bit of a struggle. We ran into some overruns on some things, and we're regrouping and have a great group of people supporting, not only from the board standpoint, but from the community involvement as well. So over the next 6 to 8 weeks, people are going to go, wow, they're going to start seeing what we're doing.
Got it. And we talk about having a smaller number of kids being able to use this facility. I guess the dynamic part of this is that the infield wall is kind of brought in, so you have pretty much the infield.
Yeah,
as we see it.
It's a smaller version of baseball. We've basically taken the action-packed parts of the game, the pitching and hitting and fielding, and condensed it into a space where a kid's not standing out in left field picking dandelions.
That's what I did.
He's ready for a shot. Everybody's engaged. It's going to be fun. The cool thing that I think John will attest to as well is, there's no age limit. We can play with young kids. Adults could play. Girls could play. There's a wide variety of uses for Strikeout Baseball, and I think we'll see that develop over time and getting our local kids involved with this cool facility.
Got it. It's fantastic. And talking about spaces, I just want to give a nod to one of our sponsors. When it comes to creating the best living and working environments for the community, no one does it better than my friends at the Forsberg Real Estate Company. Brent Forsberg and his team create vibrant, holistic communities that inspire growth and encourage belonging. Focused on building stronger connections for people, the Forsberg Project is always in tune with the balancing of relationships and creating the optimum human experience. Since the 1950s, Forsberg has been enhancing the quality of life in the communities they serve by following principles of regenerative growth and aligning the resources and tools available. Reach out to my friends at the Forsberg Real Estate Company by calling 517-349-9330 or check out their website at lansingrealestate.com. So, John, over to you. As a non-Michigander myself, I was introduced to you as a menace to my beloved Philadelphia Phillies. And it pains me to say that, but you did such a great job. But I assume that most listeners know of your Michigan roots. But for those who don't, can you just give us a crash course of your Michigan upbringing?
Yeah, I was born in Warren, just outside of Detroit. And I moved to Lansing about 5th grade. And Lansing's where my sports career took off. I didn't really have any sports background. Parents really didn't have any sports in their background. Music was their forte. And so for whatever reason, when I got to Lansing and just my passions to learn how to play basketball, baseball, football, and baseball became a passion really starting around 8, 9 years old. And everything Detroit Tigers, Detroit Pistons, Lions, Red Wings. So I emulated anybody that whatever I saw on TV, I would go out in the backyard. If it was shooting baskets, I would do that. If it was throwing a baseball, I'd throw a rubber ball against a brick wall. And ironically, I grew up on the game of strikeout baseball. I know it's not in vogue right now. We got a lot of things that take our capture our imagination technology-wise and direct connect. But I grew up on a brick wall with a strike zone and a rubber ball, and me and my buddy, we would just play until we were told to come in. And that captured my imagination in a way that baseball is unique. You can't really play pickup baseball. You got to find a bunch of buddies to make up a game. And so we would play that version, whether it was 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 2-on-2. And so that natural tie-in for me in baseball took off in Lansing, graduated from Lansing Waverly. And, I remember every moment in Lansing because it's unique, it's small. I'm kind of partial to small cities, even though I live in a big one now and probably played baseball in a ton of big cities. I just love the intimacy. And that's really the perfect tie-in to where Jeff and his vision met me and my passion. And, now we've got a chance to kind of unite his vision with a unique opportunity for kids that I'm sure we'll have to teach it to and introduce it to. But you just never know when kids are given opportunities they would never have and where it might manifest itself. And I think the thing that we are passionate about as a board, as the board is with this great cause, is that it's just going to provide a place where these things can take place. And I was a dreamer at 9 years old. I dreamt to be in a Major League Baseball and was able to follow and pursue my passions. I don't know if we'll necessarily get Major League Baseball players out of this facility, but it'll be nice to have people be able to do something they wouldn't ordinarily had the chance to do and provide an outdoor activity that I know and Jeff knows once people see what this is all about. It's just going to be fantastic.
That's great. Now, how did you originally get engaged with Jeff about this concept? And, were you immediately drawn to it or did you have some skepticism, and how did that grow?
Oh, it took a while with my world, trying to connect with people. You can imagine I get hit up all the time with opportunities and people through my friend, my sister. I think it almost took around a year and a half, 2 years, just with the busyness of my life to make this kind of connect. And once I fully saw what this was about, it was an easy connection for me. There's not a lot of people today that even know what strikeout baseball is. And so being able to bring it back, it's like bringing back Baseball Stars on Nintendo. A lot of people don't know what that was. that was only the greatest game that's ever played growing up. So that's kind of the way I feel, about this. And the one thing that I've always been and always will be, I don't just kind of jump into things, and I don't lend my name to things. I'm very particular and very passionate about the things that I'm involved in, and I don't just check a box and say that use my name in any way. So I only have my name on one other facility in Lansing. That's Javier Cavazos in the field that they built. So I'm very particular, and I don't like it, meaning I don't try to seek the attention. This just happens to be a perfect fit for Lansing and for what basically I was able to do my whole life.
Well, that adds a lot of credibility to it. And hearing that, it makes a lot of sense. Hearing that all for the first time, that you wouldn't do that. And hopefully that'll energize the project. And I mean, I know we're kind of at the finish line, maybe rounding third would be a better metaphor. And I understand you're going to be coming back up in early or mid-May to be part of an event over at our Jackson Field with the Lugnuts. Can you share a little bit more about what that looks like?
Yeah, I'm coming to Michigan to facilitate not only that, some other obligations, and the Lugnuts. Oh man, I'm just telling you, I didn't understand back then playing, and I heard that Lansing was getting a team, and I couldn't believe it. Right? I mean, I couldn't believe that it was going to be a minor league baseball team in Lansing. Didn't know how that would work. Couldn't believe that Lugnuts was going to be the name, and it only turned into one of the most popular all-time nicknames ever. I think for the longest time it was one or two, and it's a what a neat facility right there in downtown Lansing. I know organizationally it's changed a few times, but yeah, we're going to get a chance to. I'm going to get a chance to come and visit with some people and see a game that reminds me of how I started out, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity again to bring awareness to Strikeout Baseball and do everything we can to get this facility up and running. And again, envision. I don't have many throws left in my arm, but I look forward to pitching to a lot of these kids, whether it be clinics or whatever we get a chance to do, because it's going to be a great day when it opens.
That's fantastic. And so maybe people here in the studio, can you fill in some of the gaps on the May 14th event that's going to be happening at Jackson Field?
Well, what we thought we would do is get John back home to not only discuss the project, but the Lansing Lugnuts have had open arms to this concept from the onset, and working with some of the people, the past regime with Nick Greaser, of course, Nick, and with Zach now with the Lugnuts. They're really excited about being a part of this. And this is going to be an event that's going to be geared towards not only exposing the project to the community, but to have John come back home, throw out a first pitch, and expose the project in a way of getting the community involved. And there's going to be some opportunities to go to our website, buy some bricks, get involved, be a part of the project. And it's all for the kids, right? This is all to get kids playing our game. And that's really what we're trying to do, is get the community of Lansing to rally around not only what we're building, but the purpose behind it, and giving these kids hope here in the inner city to play the game that we all love.
Right. So is there a way that people listening can get involved, whether it's sponsorship, brick purchasing, attend the game, shake John's hand? I mean, how does that all work, and is that unveiled at this point in time?
Well, we're going to have some little surprises, I guess we'll say, that John will be involved with once he comes to town. Okay. I know that he'll meet some of the folks that have supported the Lugnuts and some of their VIP folks, and we're excited that the mayor's going to be there. To my understanding, we have Andy Shore is going to maybe throw out a pitch side by side. So
Yankees fan, right?
I don't know, but I'll make sure that we got to make sure he knows who he's throwing next to, so he don't skiff one in the dirt, right?
That happens.
And that goes for you too, John. You better have that arm loosened up.
I could promise you this. There's a better chance it goes in the dirt than it does over someone's head.
So, John, now that you've been walking this path with the team here for the period of time that you have, and obviously it's garnered your attention to the level that you're willing to put your name on this, Have you had much opportunity to share this story with other people that are still in the industry that you're, rubbing elbows with? And is there much of a awareness or reception or opportunity to replicate this Strikeout Baseball that's going to have its first here in Lansing, maybe around the country? Because I think it's going to do really great things and really revolutionize access to the sport.
I will be. I believe in grassroots building something special so that you can unveil it and talk to people about the concept, because once we prove the concept, then the story around Major League Baseball will sell itself. It'll be great. Yes, with my connections and with what I do for a living, that will be an easy opportunity to bring about. I don't want to be cheesy, but when things start, kind of like Top Golf or pickleball, you wonder how it started.
Yep.
And then it explodes, right? And we believe that this has a similar path, and it's a unique item that doesn't really exist. So when you're able to get something up from the ground and the community involvement, and I can't say enough about our sponsors and people who have contributed, these things just don't pop up out of nowhere. And it takes a lot of people, it takes a village, and I'm a small part of it, even though my name is on it. I think those things build about not only community, but build about a brand that, people can be proud of. And that's where I see Strikeout Baseball going. It's easy to get excited and get way out in front and do a ton of things, but I think the best way to impact the community is to do exactly what we're doing. Build it, and steal a line from Kevin Costner. I mean, if you build it, they will come, and we feel like this is just another resource that this kind of park will have at its fingertips. We're biased. We think it'll be the best resource, but we'll be able to see that over time.
Can I piggyback on that?
Absolutely. Please.
I think that's exciting to hear John say those words, but I've often talked to people and they ask me about the project and the stadium and the functionality of it, right? So you can break down the rules and how it's played. There's no catcher, there's no outfield, there's no base running. You can talk about all those things. And really for me, I get choked up, is that just the people that we've gotten on board to follow this project, guys like Jeff Burke, Ashlee, Willis here in the community, and all the rest of our board. I'm humbled. I'm really blown away by the people that have not only seen the vision, but have bought into the dream of what this can do for the kids. And I'd like for Ashlee to share a few words, because I believe that she's been an integral part of not only exposing it to the community, but the future plans of what she's going to do at this grand opening and the party planning and all the events and activities and clinics and functions. I mean, she's the leader. She's the big part of what this is going to do in June, potentially when this opens. We don't have a specific date, but we're working towards sometime in the end of June to get this thing unveiled. And Ashlee, I just want to say thank you for all you do and your love for the community, because it's a big part of what we're doing here to build Strikeout Baseball.
Wow. When I heard her name on the list, and as the owner of Michigan Premier Events and being on the board makes a ton of sense. And as the Lansing resident with young children, talk about your unique vision on this and all the things that you have planned. Why are you engaged, and what's it all going to look like?
Yeah,
based
and I appreciate
on what
the kind words, Jeff. Thank you so much. This project is a huge impact to Lansing in general, just downtown Lansing. It's in the central of a neighborhood at Ferris Park. So, having a soccer field, having a basketball field, and now a miniature baseball field, that's really impactful for our community. It's giving children access to health development as well, too. So it's just a great project to be a part of. And, I have 3 boys of my own who are very active in the community. And so things like this and seeing how it's going to help develop children in the community, seeing how it's going to be really impactful, it's going to be a teaching lesson for them, opportunity to collaborate with other kids in the, neighborhood. That says a lot of great things for our community. So it's just great to be a part of that. In the future, we're looking at having clinics, having programs, having, we're talking to athletic directors to be a part of this, just bringing children to be a part of the stadium for them to grow, develop, and just have fun and just be kids. That's what it's all about.
Right on. It's fantastic. And Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit? You're a local realtor, right? And a big sponsor of the facility, the president of Strikeout Baseball. How did you get involved, and what makes you so passionate about it? And what's it been like working with number 29 and his sidekick, Jeff Lazaros over here?
Well, in all, it's a pleasure, to, be working side by side, with John and Jeff. And everybody on the Strikeout Baseball board with it. I started out, as a sponsor. To be honest with you, a sticky note came on my desk from one of my agents and said, hey, call Jeff Lazaros and, about possible donation and everything. And I went, okay, literally researched everything I could, watched every YouTube video with Jeff, John's dad, the news, everything, for it, and just saw Jeff's passion and authenticity. Mm-hmm. And I just was instantly connected with him, as well as the vision for the stadium, and it was just a no-brainer, as far as doing it. I budget my everything that I'm doing in October the year before. So for me, I had to pull money and funds from different areas to really become a sponsor. They'd asked me if I wanted to be part of the board, and I held out for probably about 9 months. But I was part of almost every board meeting just to see, because I don't like to commit to something that I can't do wholeheartedly and spend the amount of time to do. So I wanted to really wrap my arms around it. And it's kind of crazy. Now I'm the president of Strikeout Baseball.
Just like that.
It's like, okay, I'm a type of guy that if I'm going to join it, I might as well be leading it, and go from there. And it's weird how things happen for that and so on. So it's just been a great ride. What this is going to bring to the inner city youth, the Lansing area. This is, I always say, I told Jeff, many, many times, we talk almost, I hate to say every day, but we're making history, right? Lansing is the location for the first of many, right? So I always tell people, it's like, be part of history, right? To be able to put your name on something, whether it be a 12 by 12 brick or a wall or something, and be part of history, the first one of many across the, throughout the country, is huge. And it's right here in Lansing, right? As John said, a small community, but yet it's mighty, right?
Yep.
Which is beautiful. So, I watched John, playing ball. My in-laws live in, Georgia and Atlanta, and they sent every Atlanta's Braves and everything, Georgia Bulldogs, and my kids have been growing up on it. So it's been a pleasure. I've watched John in Atlanta play, and now to be side by side with him and just doing it at this level is just, I would have never thought it. So it's just a blessing for me. So the community involvement that we're looking at, really that call to action is to get involved. StrikeoutBaseballUSA.org. Go to there. You can donate $5, $10, or whatever you can. We've got the 12 by 12 bricks that are. I know we've got those at $1,000. You can be part of history and be branded into the stadium as well. We had talked about outside doing a $1.10 coupon discount. So if you email me at jeffburke@kw.com with $1.10 BUCK10. We'll give you 10% off the brick, right?
Wow, how about that? I'm honored.
Yeah. So there we go. And if I got to make up the difference for what we, that, I will.
We got that on tape, right?
Right, I heard that.
That's recorded.
$1.10 and 10, giving a nod to my favorite, player growing up with Larry Boa.
Oh boy,
shortstop for the Phillies, number 10.
Nice.
Yeah,
I came full circle.
I like that. You like how I did that?
Let me mention something that Jeff had talked about the future Strikeout Baseball. While it's exciting, I know John's focus right now has been on Lansing, and we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, of course. And John has the ability to reel me in because I'm a visionary, and I'm always thinking about the things that could come from having this facility in Lansing. But this one has to be right. That's really the focus here, and that's what I thank John all the time for his wisdom and his knowledge and his belief in what we're doing, but also his guidance in being able to help us realize that there's nothing without Lansing being as good as it can possibly be.
Absolutely.
And that includes the programming. We Coach Boss at MSU is part of our advisory board. We got a lot of great people in the community that have supported this. Mike Price, Brett Kaczynski, Chris Holman, right on down the line. There's so many other people outside of our board that have grasped onto this project, seeing the credibility that it has. And obviously having John on board speaks volumes too, right?
Yep.
But this is a passion of his. This isn't just, hey, put my name on this and let's see what happens. It's, hey, this is going to be something cool, and I want to be a part of giving back to the community where I'm from. And I'm honored to have him have his name on this thing. So I just want to say that we know that it starts with Lansing before we start talking about into the future of Strikeout Baseball.
Absolutely. You never know what corners to look around. Once it's up, it's got to function. It's got to be programmed. You're going to learn a ton in the first year that thing's open. So making sure you work out all those kinks before it's replicated. And there's something nice about having the only one be in Lansing. Then you get all these other people coming here to visit it and study it and see what comes next.
It's funny you say that. I'll tell you about a quick conversation we had. John and the mayor and Brett Kaczynski and I got on a call, and this was prior to even groundbreaking, and I think John was covering our bases, pun intended, to say, hey, is there going to be any opposition? We want to make sure that the community wants this, make sure that the city wants this. He wanted to talk to the mayor, and I'll never forget Mayor Andy Shore saying, I think the only opposition that we're going to get to Strikeout Baseball is, how come it was built on that side of town? We want one over here. So, which is a good problem, right? So then we start talking about the diversity of saying, hey, there's 111 parks in Lansing. Let's find out where another one can be put once this one takes off and it's, in John's words, humming, right?
Yep.
When this thing's happening and kids are playing and we're growing the game, hey, what better thing than to think about the expansion and being in different areas around the city? And that was really what the mayor exemplified was, hey, let's think about, other parts of the city that this could become, a popular thing too. How exciting is that?
I'm excited. I'm excited to play ball. We've been teasing a lot here, but when are we realistically hoping that this is going to be open?
We're shooting for the end of June. We got some target dates. There's some variables that I think are going to come into play based on some costs, some other things that we're uncovering some things along the way. So
sure. The trades are all
I don't want to give a date right now because it's not solid, but I think that we have a vision in what we can realistically get accomplished and do. And with John's help, the board's help, the community's help, I think things are falling into place. And I think you can sense the excitement by everyone talking about what we're doing, that this is happening. It's half built. And once we get the other half built, we'll be playing ball and
having a grand open celebration with the community.
That's right.
As well.
Well, Lansing does that right. Mm-hmm. When we decide to have a festival or we have a community gathering and a ribbon cutting, this town shows up. So I'm excited for that. And as we round the finish line, I do want to give a final nod to Triterra. They're a leading environmental consulting firm headquartered here in Lansing, Michigan, with a staff around the state to serve your brownfield development, environmental consulting, and natural resource management needs. Since 2008, Triterra has been successfully advising a wide range of organizations to implement solutions to complex environmental challenges. If you are a business, a developer, a property owner, a lending institution, attorney, or governmental entity looking for a solution, and you want prompt and timely service, do not hesitate to contact my friends at Triterra. Led by CEO and visionary Don McNabb, JP Buckingham, and Dave Van Haren, and supported by dozens of technical experts you can't miss by calling Triterra at 517-702-0470 or check them out on Triterra US. They mean it when they say it's not just what we do, it's who we are and how we do it. So this is inspiring. It's exciting. I can't wait to see the first pitch thrown. I can't wait to watch these folks out there. Are adults going to be allowed to play around, or is that going to be mostly for kids?
Yeah,
there's no height maximum or anything?
Right. No, we just want to make sure we have some programming in place, and that's where John is really involved with helping structure some things that are going to allow the kids in that community to have access to it.
Yep.
So there'll be some things. I think there'll be a little bit of a learning curve in figuring out. It is a first come, first serve type of environment.
Right.
But we'll have balls. This is the special rubber ball that will be used inside the facility. We'll make those accessible to some of the different places around town. But the big thing is to expose the game to the kids and make sure they have access to it. So there's a little side story I like to share. We have a piece of netting that's going to cover the stadium.
Okay.
Because it's a confined space.
Yep.
And we ordered this back in March last year, and in August there was a delivery to my house, and I thought it was the netting. 3 big boxes. It's supposed to come one piece, right? I got 3 huge boxes sitting in front of my garage. Well, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to sew this netting together, right? I was like, I panicked. I opened up the box, and John had made a phone call to Wilson. it was 3 boxes of beautiful leather, brand new baseball gloves that we are going to arm these kids in Lansing with, man. And I get choked up talking about it. That's the guy that we have involved. He's in this for the kids. He sent us gloves. We're going to give them to the kids. We're going to arm these kids to play our national pastime. And that's really what this is all about, is exposing this game to the kids that otherwise might not have a chance to know what baseball even is.
Fantastic. Thank you, John, and what a great way to kind of wrap up the show, to tell that story. That's it's exciting. It's a long time coming. I know you've put your heart and soul into it. I know the board has been working tirelessly on fundraising and construction management and all the things that go along with all of this. But when it's done, you guys are going to be a 5-year overnight success.
There you go.
So is there anything I've missed? Anything that you want to talk about before we wrap this up? And I'd also like to make sure we plug the website, how people can learn more, buy bricks, and stay in tune. Where are we going for that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, like you said in the very beginning, we're rounding third, right? And we need to get it home. We need the donations. We need the community support behind it. Go to strikeoutbaseballusa.org. Donate today. Like I said, be part of history. If you want to order a brick, all of this, we did have some overages like was discussed. We will get to the finish line. This thing will be open, and it'll be a beautiful day.
Fantastic. Appreciate everyone joining me here today. We've got Jeff Lazaros, the brainchild behind this whole project and the founder of Strikeout Baseball. We've got Ashlee Willis, the community ambassador and board member, President Jeff Burke, and of course, number 29 on the phone. Thanks so much for your time, John, and your participation in this, and your generosity and your wisdom on this whole project. Can't say enough thanks for all you've done for this project.
My pleasure, and I look forward to throwing out the first pitch.
You got it. Thanks, everyone, for being here. This is Chris Buck with Michigan Reimagined. Have a great day, everyone.
Awesome interview. Thank you.